But they don't look like me. They don't talk like me. But they don't look like me. And they don't talk like me. But they don't look like me. And they don't talk like me. But they don't look like me.
Welcome back to the Comic Shop. I'm Eugene Capon.
Glad you came back to catch another round of two dudes doing what they do best. Sitting
about
close
comics.
and talking.
Why are you so very close to me, sir?
We're pretty close to each other, not gonna lie. I'm getting the full view, and I'm drinking it up. Saving some for later, though, too.
You're a very pretty man, Pat. I
Well,
just want to tell you that.
It does help that this room is not well lit, so that bodes well for me right now. But I'm gonna
Oh,
take
me
it.
too.
I'm gonna take it, so that's all good.
I feel like I have more of that nerdy charm. Like, I have the nerd glasses, and I have the emo boy haircut, and I wear black all the time.
I'm a true Gemini. I'm a man with feet in multiple worlds. Some days, I want to wear a three-piece suit and slick my hair off to the side, like Don Draper. And then the next day, I'm wearing beat-up jeans and my leather jacket with my Iron Maiden t-shirt on. And then the next day, I'm wearing my Venom or Spider-Man shirt. So, I don't know what that says about me, but I got my feet and hands in many areas. Many areas.
Most people don't know this, but the first time I actually met Pat, we were both in costume. And it was on the set of a movie called Justice Never Reloads.
I've heard of that film. I've heard of it.
I believe you were the star of that film.
Oh, yes, I was. Yes, I was.
And my role on that movie was I basically played a thug. And Pat got to throw a cup of steaming hot coffee in my face.
That's right. It truly was steaming hot coffee, folks. No movie magic there.
You know what? We will release a clip of that on our YouTube.
Yeah, check it out. The film is Justice Never Reloads. It has a Facebook page. It's on IMDb. It's got its own website. Google it. Check it out.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Well, anyway, we need to go through
What's
these.
the next? What's on?
We need to
Hit me.
follow the source material for Priest, and we kind of need to go through it a little bit faster. That way we have enough time to go over the 10 years of Smallville. They just ended, and it was a fabulous series.
Okay, so Priest is one of those things where we're both familiar with it. We've heard of it, but we don't know too much about it. We just wanted to make people aware of it because it is a graphic novel adaptation that just hit the silver screen. And apparently, it takes place beyond the actual issues of the graphic novel. It's not a straight up adaptation of issues that have already been released.
It's a connecting movie over a span of 150 years in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, what it's about is the comic takes place in 3 different time periods: the Crusades, the Wild West, and modern times, and it tells a story of a battle between humanity and 12 fallen angels. That's what the comic is about, from what we've read. But the film itself takes place beyond that, in a post-apocalyptic future where most people live in futuristic cities ruled by the oppressive church, and it's wastelands everywhere.
The Vatican.
Yeah, the Vatican, and there's constant threat from vampires, and there's this one priest, a warrior priest played by Paul Bettany, who goes in search of his kidnapped niece, and he runs into all types of vampire shenanigans and various characters through his journeys.
I love vampire shenanigans.
Vampire shenanigans. That makes it sound less threatening, I think, when you say shenanigans. But let's not be unclear here. Vampires are freaking scary, and we're not talking Twilight vampires either.
Yeah,
We're
real
talking
vampires
real
don't
vampire.
sparkle.
They're not sparkling, and they're not lying in a meadow trying to read you poetry and controlling their lust to bone. Okay, we're talking vampires that are mean and gonna kill you and
Eat your face off.
Eat your face off. So yeah, neither of us were really aware that the priest took place. The film itself takes place beyond the comic. Correct? You were the one that told me about that.
Yeah, originally when I heard the movie was coming out, I actually thought it was just an adaptation of the comic book series. And through doing our research, because we actually haven't seen the movie yet, we found out that it sets 150 years in the future.
Okay. Yeah, and it's actually a Korean comic originally by a man named Min Woo Hyung. Hope they pronounced that correctly. So I'm sorry if I butchered that to our Korean listeners. And it was adapted for film. Apparently Gerard Butler was originally slated to play the title role back in 2006, but he was replaced with Paul Bettany. I don't know how you feel about that.
I think it's a good choice.
Paul Bettany's a nice guy. I mean, essentially, I looked at the trailer for Priest and was like, oh, is this Legion 2? I was a little unsure because he was in that movie Legion and they look a little similar, but we'll see.
Less vampires in Legion.
Yeah.
More angels.
So yeah, unfortunately, we don't know a ton about Priest, but we just want to give you a quick little overview about it. Check out the comic first. I hear it's amazing. The film, I'm hearing so-so things about it, but still, it looks interesting, worth checking out. But anyways, the big topic we really want to get into was the end of the show, Smallville. Quick overview. Smallville is a great little show that was on TV, just finished its 10th year. It's about Clark Kent's experiences in Smallville before he becomes the Man of Steel. And it's about all of his interactions, the people he meets, learning about his powers, his origins. How do I go into this world with these powers? What am I going to be about?
Sorry, I was eating candy.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a little snack too.
Sorry, you were talking.
It's all good, man. It's all good now.
Very long-winded.
That's what I bring. So, what did you think of the series finale of Smallville?
You know what? As far as ways to end a series, Smallville was probably one of the better done. I'm not too sure about how they ended it with a 2-hour season finale when 30% of the entire episode was just flashbacks.
There was a lot of flashbacks. I definitely noticed that, and we got a lot of Jonathan Kent flashbacks going on too, which is
Just-
good times.
He's a ghost running around speaking to Clark Kent in the background.
I guess he was a physical projection of Clark's subconscious mental thought process. You know, they do that in movies all the time.
But you know what? I think they kind of hinted at the fact that he may have actually been the real Jonathan Kent, just because Martha Kent, when she was actually in the episode, would run around and kind of almost interact subconsciously with the fact that he was there.
Or she just might be a little off and still missing her husband of crazy amount of years. But that's good too. That's good too.
Either way. Maybe I'm just overthinking it.
Now, full disclosure, I avidly watched the first 3 seasons of Smallville. About midway through 3, I kind of got frustrated with the whole Clark and Lana dynamic. I felt like they were friends and they were interested in each other, but they couldn't date because Lana felt like he had all these secrets and wasn't being 100% completely honest about everything in his life. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, you guys are in high school. What kind of high school relationship? Full disclosure, everything about themselves. Like, go on some dates, go to the movies, have a good time. She was getting way too serious for me.
Stop announcing your love to the public.
I'm just saying. I'm saying.
Saying it. Well, you know what? Lois Lane, who's playing Lois Lane? Who's the actress?
I believe it's Erica Durance?
Erica Durance?
Yeah. I know how it's spelled, but I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation because I've never heard it said out loud. So, you tell me. But
Well, you know, I thought she was I thought she was a better actress than the girl who was playing Lana Lang.
yeah, I mean, I've only seen a few episodes with the Lois Lane character, but she was fantastic on Smallville. Very pretty. She really embodied, I think, the spirit of Lois Lane, you know.
That gutsy, loudmouth reporter coming from a military family off to go mother the seed.
Yeah, not just your typical
Superman
average
seed.
girl. Like, the kind of girl that's going to push Clark and make him a better person. Kind of a nice counterbalance to Clark's Boy Scout persona, essentially. He's a grown-up Boy Scout with a cape. Essentially, that's Superman to me.
You know, I'm not going to disagree with that one.
But I do feel bad, and I think I'm going to go back and pick up with Season 4 and really watch it thoroughly all the way through Season 10. I don't feel too bad watching the series finale without seeing those other episodes because, honestly, at the end of the day, we always knew Point A and we knew Point B. We knew he starts off in Smallville and eventually he ends up in Metropolis as Superman. So we already really knew the ending. It's just cool to see how he gets there. So I don't feel too bad about seeing the series finale without seeing the last 6 years. 7.
You know what? You know, I actually have one up on you because I've actually seen seasons 1 through 9, but I'm missing a couple episodes from the very last season because it's not out on DVD. And that's usually how I go back and I just kind of rewatch everything.
What would you say about, how are your feelings about seasons 4 through on? How did the show progress? What were some themes? What impressed you? What didn't you like? Give me
You know what? It was kind of irritating to find all the villains that he basically defeats as Superman later on are all taken care of during his, his teen years or his very much before Superman years. I mean, the last season you ended up him fighting off Darkseid. In season 9, you have him taking on Metello and General Zod.
Interesting, and I guess that's part of just the DC reissuing and re-identifying the brand for a modern era. Kind of like with the Ultimate Universe in Marvel's, there's spirit and tone's going to be there, but there's definitely going to be adjustments and differences to make it work for that particular outlet or medium of it. I think it's great. It's Smallville really, another way of introducing Superman and Clark Kent to another generation, kind of like what Young Justice is doing with cartoons, or like what the Dean Cain show did in the 90s with Terry Hatcher. It's keeping the brand alive for new people. Keep them interested.
All right, I got a question for you. Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman, or Smallville?
I would say I would go with Smallville over The Adventures of Superman and Lois Lane from
Why
the
is
90s.
that?
Well, it's always more interesting for me to see how a character becomes the way they are. I was interested to see the progression of Clark Kent becoming from, learning about his origins. And I have this great gift, but what am I going to do with it? What's going to shape my outlook and the way I go about using these powers? The Adventures of Superman and Lois Lane, there was just never really enough good villains or big enough issues to really, I feel like, push the Superman character in that show to his maximum potential. He always, I never doubted Superman winning in the 90s in that show.
But with Smallville, you definitely could see him possibly losing?
Not necessarily losing, I just felt like there was a lot more obstacles in Smallville. Because that was kind of my feeling. But yeah, Smallville, fun show. Check it out. The series finale was 2 hours, and it was epic. Good stuff.
A lot of commercials, though.
A lot of commercials, though. But speaking of Superman, you're talking about the all-time hero, so of course we got to talk about our heroes and our villains of the week. I'm going to start it off, since I'm the villain.
Okay.
I'll be the darkness, you'll be the light. My villain is my car. The light system on the dashboard is constantly malfunctioning, so I don't know if the light actually means, hey, you got a problem with your car, it's going to blow up and kill you, or, hey, the light itself is just broken, get that fixed. So that really has been bothering me. I'm going in to see the car guy tomorrow. I've had problems with just the light itself. I don't know if it actually means there's something wrong, but for right now, my villain is my car. That light system is pissing me off, the one on the dashboard. Hit me with your hero, buddy.
You know what? It's Michael Rosenbaum.
Okay.
I realize he's played, Lex Luthor on Smallville for the last 10 years. And he was actually recently in a TV show called Breaking In, where he played Dutch, who was kind of the, to a lesser extent, the antagonist for the show.
Nice.
And on the same season this year, both seasons have been canceled or cut or ended. And so I see that guy just out of a job. And the fact that he's actually had to put up with that at the same time, I guess I feel bad, and that's why I'm giving him the hero award for this week.
You can't feel too bad. I mean, he was on Smallville for a long time, a successful, highly rated show. He, I'm sure, got paid handsomely to play, the man, Lex Luthor.
Smallville bucks.
Yeah. But, I mean, new shows don't always make it. He's a young actor. I'm sure he'll get picked up on something else. I can't feel too bad for a guy who got to play Lex Luthor for 10 years and get paid to be bad. That's got to be pretty fun. I mean, come on.
Oh, definitely.
Who doesn't?
Definitely.
Who doesn't like that? But I find it kind of interesting, though, that your hero is a guy that played Lex Luthor, one of the world's greatest villains. That's pretty awesome. So, anyways, it's that time of the day again. Time to close down the shop, flip the light, and we'll be back another day for you to spend hours wandering through our little shop, our little world. So check out the Facebook, check out the YouTube, check out the Twitter. I'm Pat, this is Eugene. Thanks for listening to the shop.
Take it easy.
The connection.